Hello viewers, how are you? Welcome to Nibir Network, your audio-visual library. Today we will discuss about the dawn of Theranos, how Elizabeth Holmes came up with the idea of Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes, born February 3, 1984, Washington, D.C., American entrepreneur who was founder and CEO, 2003-2018, of the medical diagnostic company Theranos Incorporated. Holmes was placed on the Forbes list of the 400 richest Americans in 2014, and that year she was dubbed the world's youngest self-made woman billionaire. By June 2016, however, Forbes had dramatically reduced its estimate of her net worth in light of serious questions that arose in 2015 to 2016 related to Theranos' business practices and her 50% stake in the company. Charged with defrauding Theranos' investors out of more than $700 million with exaggerated claims related to the company's medical testing technology, Holmes settled and relinquished control of Theranos in 2018. Holmes, the daughter of a U.S. government aid worker and a congressional committee staffer, grew up in Washington, D.C. and Houston, Texas, and spent time in China during high school. While there she started a business selling computer software to universities in Asia. After Holmes returned to the U.S., she pursued a degree in electrical and chemical engineering at Stanford University. During a summer break from her studies at Stanford, Holmes took a job at the Genome Institute of Singapore to work on a computer chip designed to detect the presence of the SARS virus in the body. She then became interested in developing more efficient medical devices that could improve upon traditional diagnostic testing and therapeutic assessment. Upon her return to Stanford, Holmes patented a device that attached to a person's body and measured the effectiveness of a given medication by comparing parameters of chemical markers produced by a diseased region with those of the therapeutic agent. She left Stanford during her sophomore year to launch Theranos, a company devoted to developing minimally invasive laboratory testing services, serving as the company's founder, 2003, and later as the company's CEO. Theranos produced its first offering in 2014, a laboratory testing process that claimed to run more than 1,000 medical tests on an individual after collecting only a few drops of blood, a technology capable of revolutionizing medical data collection. Theranos maintained that it was improving laboratory blood collection and testing by miniaturizing and automating the process. Traditional blood testing relied on drawing 510 ml, 0.170.34 fluid ounce, of blood through a large needle to fill one tube for each test requested by a physician. That process was often painful for patients and costly for insurance carriers, and experts worried that the procedure had dissuaded patients who were young, were elderly, or possessed a genuine fear of needles from getting their blood work done in a timely manner. Laboratory data was one of the key tools physicians used to help patients make informed decisions about care. Theranos' process, on the other hand, asserted that a far smaller sample, a few drops taken from a pinprick of a finger, was sufficient to provide the raw material for the company's diagnostic tests, and the procedure was shown to be far less painful and costly than traditional testing. By late 2015, Theranos' proprietary technologies and its primary medical testing device, the Edison, had become the subject of controversy after a series of articles by reporters from the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, and other outlets argued that Theranos had exaggerated the Edison's competence, noting that the medical device was being used for only a fraction of the company's tests, despite claims to the contrary made by Holmes. Other questions concerning the company and its secretive processes soon appeared, which ranged from Theranos' decision to release aggregate testing data, rather than primary testing data, to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to compliance problems with the company's Newark, California, laboratory. Theranos was also under scrutiny for its substantial delays in giving federal authorities full access to its medical devices and subjecting its devices and technologies to scientific peer review. In July 2016, CMS notified Theranos that the company had failed to provide adequate documentation showing that it had corrected its previous errors and complied with federal regulations, and thus CMS blocked Theranos from receiving reimbursements from Medicare and Medicaid and forbade Holmes from possessing or operating a medical laboratory for 2 years. In March 2018, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Holmes and Theranos' former president, Ramesh Balwani, with fraud by taking more than $700 million from investors while advertising a false product. Holmes settled the charges with the SEC by agreeing to pay a fine of $500,000, surrendering almost 19 million shares in Theranos to relinquish her controlling interest in the company, and consenting to be barred from serving as either an officer or director of a public company for a period of 10 years. In exchange, both Holmes and Theranos were able to avoid either admitting or denying the SEC's allegations against them. In June 2018, however, she and Balwani were indicted for wire fraud by federal authorities. That same day Holmes stepped down as CEO. That's all for today. Next time we'll discuss some more topics about Theranos. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, hit the like button below, share with your friends.